So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us either live and during this virtual reception, which is happening on Thursday, October. I knew I was going to do this to myself, 6th at 5:30, or if you're watching this after the fact, you're probably watching a recording through the SMOC website. So thanks for watching. I'm Nicole DeBoer. I'm the Executive Director of the Southwest Minnesota Arts Council. We're here tonight with Jamie Niemeyer, and she is an artist that's currently exhibiting in the SMOC Gallery. We are so honored to have her 44 pieces in there. She is going to tell you a little more about it. You're going to see a video of basically a virtual tour of the SMOC Gallery and of Jamie's exhibit. And I think you will be certainly impressed with her work. I know that I enjoy it every day. Sometimes I have some side conversations with some of the portraits, and we talk about some real deep thoughts. So I know that you'll enjoy seeing her work virtually tonight. If you have a chance to stop by the gallery, her work is on exhibit until October 26th, which is a Friday, the last Friday in October. Her work will be there through that whole time. We are open Monday through Friday. And hi, Ronnie, you're just joining us. So
Hi.
I'm just getting everybody welcomed and settled in to learn about Jamie. I have a little piece. I might look down a little bit. I want to read you a bio. I want to tell you all about Jamie Niemeyer. Jamie was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, to a Caucasian mother and an African-American father, and moved to southwestern Minnesota at a young age to find herself in an area where she was the only African-American. As a kid, Jamie was always doodling and drawing on everything and used art as a way to cope with mental health and self-image issues. She said, "I love art and how it can touch people," regarding her connection to healing through art. Jamie's never met her father or learned much about his cultural heritage growing up, and so her work on the project titled Diversity, an Eye on Our Growth has been a way for Jamie to intentionally reach into her African-American roots to learn more about the people that influenced her life. The exhibit that you'll see a video of contains 44 artworks directly related to the project. Jamie chose the number 44 because it has taken 44 elected presidents of the United States until an African-American president held the seat. "I feel it is important for all of us to see where we come from," says Jamie about the Diversity Project and the influence and impact this project has had on her. Jamie's best known for her butterfly mural that's found at the riverfront in Granite Falls. Jamie loves trying new mediums like wood burning, which she tells us before the Zoom started that she's working on right now. Sculpting, welding, and metal sculpting. The medium she works in mostly is doodling, drawing, painting, and her color palette is mainly black and white. Jamie also teaches doodle classes and is available for public speaking events on art and mental health. And so if you want to learn more about Jamie's work, she is on Facebook under Jamie.Niemeyer on Facebook. So you can check that out. So thank you again, everybody, for joining. As I said, we're going to let Jamie say hello here in just a second. Then we'll watch a 7-minute video tour of her exhibit. And then we'll open it up for question and answer, or Jamie can explain more about her show. So thanks, Jamie. We appreciate you being here. Turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, guys. I've been so lucky to be able to receive this grant, to be able to do this project. The Diversity Eye on Growth was a huge undertaking. I didn't realize that it was going to be as much as it was until I got into it. It definitely touched a lot of heartstrings that I didn't realize it would. In doing this, I learned so much about the African American culture, the way that African Americans were treated, you know, looking at myself and thinking that the way I was treated was bad was minor in comparison to what really was going on in that time. And so being able to look at these different people and find out what they stood for was huge, because in all white culture, you know, growing up southwestern Minnesota, and mainly in Granite Falls, that there wasn't, we learned about three basic African Americans, Martin Luther King Jr., Harriet Tubman, and Rosa Parks. And those were the three that were talked about, but really that was all we were told were really their names. You know, and it was, I remember I had a dream, you know, the speech and things like that. And so there was no real, you know, meat behind the meaning. And so in doing this project, I learned so much more. I learned what it took for Martin Luther King Jr. to do what he did in being able to speak, being able to, you know, every time he spoke out, you know, there was another time that he could get pulled over for nothing, and he sat in jail for weeks sometimes, just to keep him quiet. And I look at the other people that we had that I put in on for the grant and doing this project. My number one was FloJo, Florence Griffith Joyner, who was my idol. I started my career my life as an athlete, as a sprinter. And so she was my idol. I looked up to her. I wanted to be her. And for her to set such high standards for someone like me in my race was huge. And at that time, I didn't accept myself as being African American. I just kept telling myself I was white so that I could fit in with everyone else. So each one of these pieces brought a new idea, a new thing for me to understand about the African American culture and who I am, and not to be ashamed of who I am and where I came from. I did let's see, it's My Heritage, and started looking for my biological father. And in doing so, this last winter, I met a biological cousin. And it's the first time in my entire life that I met someone that was related to me that had the same skin color as me. And so this project has brought out so much for me. It has been such a huge personal growth. And I really, really enjoy the fact that I am able to share this with other people so that they can see and maybe think about these different people, ask questions about these different people, and learn, because if you don't see them, you don't learn them, you never really can grasp where they're coming from. So we all need to learn about other people, because it really will help you in the end. It makes you a better person. And so that's, for me, I'm an artist, but I'm a learner all through everything. And I find that to be extremely important in everything that I do. I do work with many different mediums. I look at everything as art, no matter what it is. I see color, I see black and whites, I see everything everywhere. So if I can touch something and change it in some way, I'm going to. And so that's just the way my brain works. It just kind of overloads with different things. I love teaching these things to other people so that they can you know, feel the joy of it. Wood burning has been something for me, and even my wood burning, my doodles, everything is all connected to my mental health. It helps me to release any of those tough and hard feelings that I'm having. I can put it down on paper. I can burn it in on wood. I can do whatever I want to help me get that out. And it makes me feel better. And I know that's something that does work for other people. And I always encourage others to try that and, you know, see what they're able to do. It, you know, just because it's a stick figure doesn't mean that it can't be something else. So I always encourage people, try it. You might like it. So we can watch the video now, and you'll see the 44 different people that were chosen. I chose them in accordance to who I felt I wanted to learn about, and that's how they were really chosen. In going through that, there are so many more people I want to learn about. So, but this is the 44 that I chose.
Great. And Crystal is going to play that video. Thank you all for watching. was awesome.
Thank you, Crystal.
Yes.
You're welcome.
So this recording, along with an edited version of that video, will be going on our website if you want to rewatch this or watch it anew on probably next week. Or Crystal, I think you said in the next few days.
Yeah, I mean,
takes a while for
tomorrow or even tonight, we can put up the video, the virtual tour. It's just this video that might take a little bit longer to caption and get back on. So there'll be two separate videos. You can watch this longer one, or you can watch just that one that we just watched, which is 7 minutes. They'll both be available eventually.
Great. So at this point in our virtual reception, we would certainly welcome any questions for Jamie or comments directly to Jamie, so that I can stop talking and someone else can start talking. But I guess I will kick it off to get us started. I know you said that FloJo she was your first portrait that you wanted to do because she inspired you so much. But after you've done all 44, do you have one that is a favorite? Or is FloJo still the favorite one?
I think after doing them all, FloJo is still my favorite. The thing is, though, that in learning about the people, I realized that my connection to Maya Angelou is a lot bigger. So, you know, there were both things that I really was like, man, these are icons. These are huge. This is a huge deal. So FloJo probably had more of my youth and guidance in that way, where looking at Maya Angelou now is probably where I'm at, more at the mental maturity state wise. But really, you know, looking at all of them, not just being there being men and women, but thinking about the fact that not only were they going through the diversity of some of them were women. And women that are going into medical fields, women that are you know, starting journalism, you know, the first one to be a millionaire. And this is not just it, you know, they're Black Americans, or you know, and they're women. So they had to go through even bigger hurdles. So when I think about that, it makes me feel even more proud to be a female African American and being able to, you know, get my work out there and seen. So there are other little girls that are out there that can, you know, not have to be ashamed of who they are, or feel like they have to fit in with the people that they're with. You know, be you. You know, it's good to have idols, but be you.
Open floor for other questions or comments.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Long time no see.
Yeah.
You've really kind of blossoming all over in all of the art that you're doing now.
I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We also have, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I also now will be doing a speaking event and taking my 44 to the anti-racism seminar in November 11th and 12th in Marshall at SMSU. And later this spring, I will have on PBS, I'll be on PBS postcards.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
That's wonderful. I think I saw that on your Facebook page too.
Yeah. Do you got a question for me?
Yeah, I was wondering, with so, like you were saying earlier, with so many people out there, how did you have any kind of a process, or how did you decide which ones to put in the 44?
Well, what I did was, you know, put in the Google search, just like you always do. And I kind of went through some of the people that were in there, and I went, eh. And then I thought of people that I had seen that I knew that I looked up to in some ways, and knew of some of the things that they had been through. There were a couple that I had a little bit of a challenge on, because my viewpoints were a little bit different than theirs, but I felt that they still needed to be seen. Malcolm X was one of them. I think that his message, the things that he wanted to say and was trying to say, were good, but the way he went about them in being, you know, aggressive and, you know, fighting and all that, that's not, I am not about that at all. Everything about me is peaceful. So so that was hard, but I looked at the other side of it and some of the things that he had been through. And then, you know, I can look at Thurgood Marshall as another one of them, that he's got a very, now I'm not going to get into politics because that's a big touchy subject for a lot of people, but his viewpoints were a little bit different than mine also. But what he did in being able to be that first Supreme Court justice, in being in that was important for people to know. And so I kind of went through some of that, and then looked at some of the other people that I thought, okay, who's this? You know, there were a lot of them that I really never heard of. When I first started, I didn't know who Maya Angelou was. Never heard of her. And that's the thing. A lot of the people that I looked at, I had never heard of. We never learned anything about that in school. I never tried to learn any more about any of that stuff. I did what I could to fit in with everybody else. So that meant shutting off the entire Black side of myself. I never watched movies with Black people. I never listened to any Black music. I never, besides my skin tone, you would have never known that. I have, I never had the stereotypical, I have a Black friend. I didn't have that. It was me. So and I think I had a huge culture shock. I went down to Georgia and I got off the airplane and I didn't know what to do. And so, I think back to all of those things and every one of the things that I've been through in my life, going, wow, I need to learn more. And it took me until this project, which not only was it till we got the 44th president, but it was my 44th. I was 44 years old. It took me until I was 44 years old to accept that I am an African-American woman and that I'm an artist and that I'm proud to be that. And that's a statement I would have never been able to say a couple years back. So I'm very proud of myself, and I'm proud of the people that have allowed me to be me.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. You've had a wonderful journey to where you're at right now.
Yes. It's been a treacherous one sometimes, but I'm learning more and more that I don't need to worry so much about what other people think of me as much as I worry about who I am and just being a good person, and that is enough for me. And the people that know me and see my work know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Well, SMOC is very proud to have been able to fund this project
Yes.
in part for you, because we're just very honored by your work, and so you should be proud, but we're actually very proud to just know you and know your work. So,
well, thank you. It means a lot to me.
yeah.
Can you talk any more about the and now my dog is speaking up while I'm not muted.
Okay.
But can you talk any more about what was it, the anti-racism in November? November
Actually,
11th, 12th?
Joyce Toft is the one that is in charge of that. If you go on Facebook, you should be able to see, I posted a little bit of information about that. I'm new to that this year. She approached me and asked me if I would be willing to come in and do something with that. And I said, yes. And for me, my speaking part will be kind of going over what it was like for me to be the only Black person in all white community and an all white family, and how racism is still prevalent to this day. And really, that's what the entire thing is about, is just trying to get everybody to see that it's still there. We still have work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're at, how long are you comfortable with the public speaking
Yes.
part, or talking about your art? Has it always been that way, or is this something you're developing?
Well, I've always been a public speaker. I have always been the funny thing is, I always say to people, the funny thing is, until the age 3.5, I did not talk at all.
What?
I didn't talk. And now all I do is talk. So, but I enjoy bringing information to people. I enjoy helping others understand that there are things that people go through, and not everybody has the ability to do that. You know, you want to say something, you want to do something, but it gets hard. There are times that it's hard for me, though, because I realize that when I am the one that's speaking out, I am putting a target on myself, kind of. I put myself out there, and everybody's going to see that. So they come to me, they look at that one face as being that person that they could be against. But I feel that the message is important enough for me to say.
Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Awesome. You're welcome.
Sandy, you had a question in chat, but I see you're on with us. So do you want to go ahead?
Sure. I wanted to ask Jamie, what are some of the opportunities that this gallery show has brought to you? And what are some of my new question is, what surprised you about this experience by the opportunities that it brought?
Well, hi, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Jamie.
Well, some of the things, one of the hugest things everybody needs to know is, if it wasn't for Sandy, I would not have met my cousin. She did the understanding the genealogy part. Is that what it's called? Genealogy, yeah. Part in the ancestry stuff, to be able to help me find my cousin. And she was there the first time I saw his picture, and she got to see the full reaction and how much that meant to me and how overwhelmed I was in that feeling. The growth that has happened for me for this project has been a huge one. Going so many years you know, denying that I'm Black and trying to just think of myself as I'm just a white person and you know, I'm just a white person with a tan. You guys just need to leave me alone. You know, I'm doing the same thing y'all do. I don't know why you have to. And then now looking at myself and going, no, you know, it's okay. It's more than okay. I'm Black and it's okay. And the people that don't like that have issues within themselves. You know, it's been a long struggle for me for many years of going through the, you know, when I was younger, I did bleach treatments on my skin, trying to get rid of my skin color because I didn't want to be that way. I didn't want all the kids to stare at me and pick on me and do all of that. And so now coming to this point for this project and going, hey, I'm going to do this all about African Americans. I'm going to learn, you know, is a huge thing because you don't learn those things unless you seek them out yourself when you're in this small of an area. And you'll realize that even though my skin was dark, I was just as closed-minded and blind to what was going on as everybody else because we were in a small community. We know each other and we know the gossip around town, but we do not know what is really hidden underneath that and what really the history is of it, the importance of the people that have been involved in all of these things. And this project has given me that opportunity to reach out and do that, being able to, you know, have my work seen in the gallery altogether was quite overwhelming for me. It was to be able to see those pieces put together, knowing that these are 44 important people, was huge. And, you know, and being able to connect with the people that I've connected through this project, you know, the people that have helped me through this project, you know, all of the SMOC staff that has been there. Every time I'm calling or sending out a text, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand this. And from the grant process, which, you know, I had Deborah Lee Fader help me get the thing written up. So that I could get the grant, and, you know, Ruth Ann being able to give me some time at the Hollywood to show my stuff. And Sandra's been behind me every step of the way. So I have some really good people that have, you know, grown with me on this project. I know that in upcoming months, you know, I probably will be doing some shows maybe at the Rock in Granite Falls. They have already let me put stuff out there before. So it's, you know, just getting myself out there and seen. And, you know, the conference in November is going to be a big step for me in, you know, speaking to my life and what I've been through. Did that help, Sandy?
That helped a lot. I've learned so much in walking with you, and just so inspired to keep drawing and painting. And what I tell people is I love working with Jamie. We're friends, but it's amazing when you put two people together. I'm just a person with a Norwegian background, but I believe that you also have a Norwegian background. And so we have things in common and we have differences, and we learn so much in our conversations.
Yep. And the biggest thing is that with just the name Diversity Ion Growth, diversity is important for all of us because it's what makes the world go round. You know, you need a little bit of difference. If everything was just black and white, I think people would get bored. Maybe it would probably be okay for me, since that's usually the medium, I think, black and white. But, you know, you need a dash of color every once in a while. And so every part of these things help with the diversity. So in doing that, we're growing as a society. We're growing as an art form all together, being able to see different sides, not just African American, but Native American and the Hmong community and all of the Latino, all of the different communities that are out there that have different historical backgrounds that no one knows about except them. And so if we can get that out to people, maybe there'll be a little more caring and concern towards people. And that's what I would like.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
I have a question just in kind of a different direction. What is your process for coming up with the doodles that go with each of the portraits?
Well, it's kind of funny.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
The thing that's funny about that for me is that when people ask me that, I'm like, well, I don't really have much of a process, except for the first thing I do is make the decision on what I want to do the doodle of. So I do the inner part of it, the outline of the main silhouette. And from there, it's what comes out of my head, whatever generates as I'm going. Everything flows. I grab a pen and I just go. I think patterns of threes for most of the time. So if you look at my work, you'll see pattern threes. There's in all of my work, there are always 3 A's. The 3 A's represent my 3 daughters, Ashley, Amber, and Amanda, and they are the most important part of my life and my inspiration to keep doing the things that I do and finding things out. And then depending on who the doodle is for, sometimes I add in words or symbols that go along with that. So like when I'm going to be doing this Egyptian queen, there will be some hieroglyphics that get added in. So it kind of depends on what exactly I'm working on, but you know, I just kind of go with the flow. Did that answer your question? All right.
I'm looking.
That's so hard to believe. I mean, that's why you're the artist that you are, because I mean, if you look at the 44 pieces, you know, as we were going through them kind of quickly, but it seemed like each one had its own unique doodling going on around it. And yep. To me, I would probably spend, I don't even know how much, that wouldn't come very naturally, you know what I mean? I don't know how you do that, but that's because you're an artist, I guess.
Thank you. Part of it is that, like when I've taught classes with some mentally and physically handicapped people and some older generation, it's more so just being able to connect with your brain and letting what is going on in your brain flow onto the paper. So a lot of the times when we're doing things, we have a blockade up. We're just like, I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of this. So when you take that, I'm thinking of just this out, you put a piece of paper in front of you and a pen, and you just do the lines, because that's doodling is lines. So you start connecting those lines. And when you start doing that, it transforms into something different. And you'll find that people that have forgotten things, like there's one dementia patient that I worked with that started doodling, and he was doodling things that he had forgotten, but it's still in his head, but he wasn't able to identify them. Now, his family members were able to identify them. And then later on, when he looked back at what he had drawn, he was able to identify them. So there are things that the thing is that the human brain is so massive and has so much power in it that you can do a lot of these things. I draw in my sleep sometimes. It's just weird. But it's your brain still goes, you know. And so if you can just get that pen and that paper and let what you're feeling, what you're seeing, what your mind is doing go, sometimes you'll find that there's something locked in there that you didn't know was there until you sit and do it.
Mm-hmm. That's truly amazing about the dementia patient, the dementia person with dementia.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, it's something that I mean, I'm not scientific at all. I'm not at all. I just know by what I see and with my mental health issues as to how I process things out onto paper, so that sometimes it helps to take that part that's in my head that I'm having a lot of trouble with and get it on paper. And once it's on the paper, I can deal with it a little bit easier. So that transference of information then changes, and your brain then can look at it differently once it's on paper. So, you know, it's just a different way of doing things, you know, and I don't know anything as to how scientifically that works, but that's just what I do.
Jamie, do you have a particular time of day that you set aside for your artistic work and creations, or how does that go? Do you have a schedule with that, or do you just whenever you're motivated or inspired?
It would be when I'm motivated and inspired. Schedules scare me terribly because I am one of the worst procrastinators ever. So I literally, it's when I feel it coming on, when I'm thinking about something, then all of a sudden it'll flow. And sometimes that means that, you know, it could be, you know, 5 p.m. and all of a sudden it's midnight and I've been working on something and I didn't even think I was working on something because it just flowed at the time. Most of my stuff now is kind of due to, you know, physical limitations with my neck and back as to how long I can handle doing the things anymore. Or like when we were talking before we came on about doing the wood burning. You can only wood burn so long before the tips start to get really hot and you have to give the burner some time to cool down. So then in between that stage, sometimes I can be working on a wood burn project with a doodle project on the side, a sculpting project somewhere else, and maybe a painting project sitting somewhere. So I kind of go wherever I feel, and a lot of it is emotion-based. A lot is emotion-based. If I am not mentally in it, I can't do anything. And I had a block of that for a while with some deaths in the family. So that is something that I think a lot of artists, just people in general, when you're dealing with something like that, grief in any way, it changes your ability to do things that you normally would do. So for me, being an artist, that really affects it, and it changes my style of work also.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Interesting.
This is so good. We have probably time for one more question. Or time for
I was going to
Okay.
say, is there any, are there any pieces around you there? I see you've got quite a few handy that you want to show and talk about a little bit.
Well, I'm working on wood burning pieces right now. So this is the one that I'm currently working on. It's a tree of life, which has two lovers in the middle here, and the word love through here. So that's one of the pieces I'm working on. I also have this little elf, she's an elf type of thing, that's a wood burn that I'm working on. And then here down at my feet, I have the doodle that will be going up for the anti-racism seminar. This is of George Floyd. So this time I did the opposite of what I normally do. I did the doodle before I completed the silhouette. But I did that because I was on that kind of roll of my thought process at the time going, oh, okay, this would be really cool. So I just kind of kept going. I had the main silhouette done, but I didn't do the black part of the silhouette. That'll come last. And then in this, there'll be some different slogans, some different things that incorporate the anti-racism stuff into it. And I do have a piece over in the background over here on the other side of the room. Let me see if I can tilt it. I'm not sure if you can see it. Okay, that piece over there, that big butterfly up on the wall, that is actually a mental health piece that I did about I want to say probably a year and a half ago. And I'm revamping it. I decided to redo it, and that will be being donated to the Avera Hospital in Granite Falls.
Beautiful.
So,
is there time for one more quick question?
Sure. Sure.
Just wondering, tell us about your studio. Is that you actually have a
I do, don't I?
Where is the studio? Is it in your hometown? Is it in the town where you live?
No, I still live in Maynard, but I've been up with my partner, and he made a studio for me in Clitheroe, Minnesota. So I actually have two studios. One smaller room that I kind of sit and stuff sits in my lap when I do. Most of my doodling is done on my lap, watching cartoons of some kind. Cartoons calm my mind. I'm a kid at heart. So I'm usually watching Flintstones or Smurfs or Jetsons and doodling. And if I'm sitting out here, this edition just, it's not even fully completed yet, but this is the sunroom, and we converted it into my studio so that I could be doing the wood burning and everything here as it starts to get cooler, because it's a lot easier to do the wood burning when it's cooler, because when it's not, it's hard to breathe and hard to deal with. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. And being up north here is a different, it's been a different, relaxing, calming thing, being able to enjoy nature and see the beauty in the colors of nature. And just being able to stop and take a breath and go, wow, this is art in and of itself, you know? So that I just appreciate things a lot more now.
That's beautiful. And we're so glad for you. We are all just inspired by your words.
Thank you.
Ronnie, did you have something?
Oh, I just wanted to point out to everyone that a few years back, I actually commissioned Jamie to do a piece of artwork for me as a Christmas gift to my niece. And my niece she's fascinated by R2-D2 and fantasy kinds of things in general. I I just sent Jamie a picture of R2D2 and she came up with a beautiful piece. Do you remember the dimension of that? It was quite large.
16 by 20. 16 by 20.
It was just beautiful and I really appreciated it, and so did my niece and the whole family. All the little extra touches you did in there to make it really individual and really oriented towards my niece. And it was an amazing gift. And I just want to thank you again for that, Jamie.
Thank you. It's great to be able to do that. I love being able to turn a piece into something that will fully mean something for someone and that's what, in the doodling, I really can do that because I can put those little personal messages in and draw the things that they like and that. So it's a good thing to be able to have that. And I'm glad that people enjoy my work.
Oh,
so thank you.
Most definitely. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, it's one thing to be able to go and see Jamie's work in person, but it's a whole nother thing to be able to see her work and hear the artist talk about it at length. So we are so appreciative of your time, Jamie, and what you've offered to this audience and to future audiences through the video that will be posted. So thank you so much. Again, if you have time, stop in and see the work in person. It'll be at the Smock Gallery, which is located at 509 West Main Street in Marshall, and it'll be there through Friday, October 26th.
Okay, good.
28th.
Thank you, guys.
28th. Friday,
28th.
October
Okay.
28th. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.